Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be reacting to pet animals that ate their owners. So, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video, and let's just get started.
From rabid dogs to hungry hogs, here are 10 animals that decided to eat their owners. Number 10, Cynthia Lee Gamble Tiger. Cynthia Lee Gamble's friends described her as fearless, something that seems understandable considering she kept a 500-pound Bengal tiger in a cage in her home in Minnesota. She was an animal expert and lover, having been involved in a number of movies and documentaries, and frequently raising, training, and filming wolves, Wolverines, coyotes, and foxes. Apparently, she had kept tigers on her property for over a decade. So if anyone was experienced and aware of the dangers, then it would be her. Despite this, though, she was fatally mauled by one of her tigers in 2006 in what seemed like a tragic accident. Enclosures will typically have individual cages that are separated from a pass-through area by heavy drop doors. To enter, the tigers would be coaxed into their cage, the doors would be lowered, and it would be safe for a human to enter to clean or feed. When they found Cynthia's body, one of the doors remained dangerously opened, leaving her open to an attack from one of the tigers, which is ultimately what happened. It was a tragic end to a life of a celebrated wildlife enthusiast, but also a warning to those who get a little too complacent living with dangerous animals. Number 9, Kelly Ann Waltz, bear. Most of the pets on this list seem like the kind of creatures that only the very brave or stupid would keep. But a 350-pound black bear seems like you're asking for trouble. Kelly Ann Waltz, a 37-year-old from Pennsylvania, learned the hard way in 2009 when she made a mistake and paid with her life. She and her husband were collectors of exotic pets when her husband worked as an exotic pet dealer. In 2007, they had reported that they kept a lion, a tiger, a black bear, oh my, jaguar, cougar, leopard, and 2 servals on site, which were supposedly kept in adequate enclosures. On the fateful day, Kellyanne had gone into the bear's 15 by 15 steel cage to clean it. Rather than moving the bear to another location, she simply threw a shovel of dog food onto one side to distract it while she cleaned the other side. The bear, seeing a more tasty option, turned on her and began to maul her. Her kids saw what happened and called the neighbor to help, who shot the bear while it was still on top of her. It was too late though, and she died almost immediately. Oh my. Number 8, Charla Nash, chimp. In 2009, Charla Nash visited her friend Sandra Harold. Within moments of arriving, she would be subjected to a horrific accident that would change her life forever. Harold had adopted a chimpanzee named Travis, who was well known after appearing in advertisements for Coca-Cola and Old Navy. Unfortunately, something about Charla's arrival agitated the normally well-behaved chimp, and he immediately jumped on her, started to bite and scratch and maul her. The injuries she sustained through what was described as a brutal, lengthy attack were severe. It had torn her eyes, her nose, her lips, her jaws, and severely injured her arm. The attack finally stopped when a sheriff arrived and shot the chimp, but Charla's ordeal had only just begun. Years of facial reconstruction surgery followed, and 8 years later, she still has to live in an assisted living home because of the difficulties she still experiences. Number 7, Marius Els, hippo. People are used to dangerous animals in South Africa. In fact, it is where most of the private zoos in the United States source their prize exhibits from. But even this familiarity proved fatal for Marius Els in 2011 when his beloved pet hippopotamus turns its sights on him. Els had repeatedly been warned by friends and authorities that a creature could not be tamed. But he saw the hippopotamus as his son. He had cared for the animal since it was 5 months old and didn't believe that it could ever cause him any harm. He couldn't have been more wrong. By the time it was 5 years old, it weighed over a ton. And while no one knows why the hippo attacked its owner, it bit him to death. The former Army major's body was found submerged in the river with horrific wounds. The same river where the hippo had previously been rescued from during a flood. Unfortunately, he wouldn't have stood a chance against the attack. Els should have listened to the advice he was given. Despite looking cute, hippos are one of the most dangerous animals out there and responsible for more deaths each year than lions, elephants, leopards, buffalo, and rhinos combined. Number 6, Terry Vance Garner. Hogs. It's something you might see in a gangster movie as a way to dispose bodies. But for one Oregon farmer, this vicious nature of hogs became all too clear. In September 2012, Terry Vance Garner went out to feed the hogs on his farm, the same way that he always did, but this time he didn't return. A family member went to investigate a few hours later, and to their horror, found his dentures and pieces of his body scattered around the pen, but most of Terry was gone, consumed by the herd. Apparently, Terry had been bitten by one of the pigs a few months earlier after accidentally stepping on a piglet. So, there has been some suggestions that it may have been an act of revenge. It is also possible that he had a medical emergency, like a heart attack, or simply been knocked over by one of the beasts before it began to devour him. Bacon, anyone? With the pigs weighing up to 700 pounds, far larger than what is typically sold at markets, there wouldn't have been much the 69-year-old could have done once they began. There is no time for hamming around in a situation like that. Number 5, James Little, dog. A little-known fact about canines in the wild is that they have a natural tendency to remove diseased flesh. It is something James Little, a 61-year-old from Oregon, probably wishes he would have known before he went to sleep one afternoon. You see, James was diabetic, and as the disease affects the extremities and makes them numb, it is thought that his pet, Shiba Inu, mistook this for a danger and then proceeded to chew off 3 of his toes.